Hi guys, my name is Travis Hoagland and we are going to do a quick video on how to play Venture the Fog. In the beginning of the game, Shadowwood City is under siege. You can see that there are 6 level 1 monster tiles around the city. Those can be oriented at the beginning of the game any way you want as long as no trees are facing the city so that it's fair and balanced for all players. At the beginning of the game, all players take their 3D hero boards and place it in front of them. Our 3D hero boards allow you to equip your starting loot. You push these through the side, through slots, and your damage and your defense are shown through slots in the board, and the artwork still hangs off the side, and we have 2 wheels that track both attack and defense on that gear, so you don't have to track it with pencil and paper. Each hero also gets a model, a reinforcement token, a multiplier die, and 7 Eris. There are 3 different types of Eris in the game. There's copper, which is worth 1. There is silver, which is worth 2. And there is gold, which is worth 5. At the beginning of the game, all heroes take their multiplier die and roll. The high roll decides whether they want to go first in the game or whether they want to go last in the game. There's benefits to both, so as you play it out, you'll realize that. The mage will decide to go first. So the mage can then take their hero model, put it in Shadowwood City, and the very first thing on the mage's turn, or any player's turn, that they can do is interact with the marketplace. The marketplace has 4 different types of consumables. There is Blister Nettle, which gives you +2 attack. There is Moonglade, which gives you +3 actions. There is Glosnark Bark, which gives you +2 defense, and Hispid Leaf, which you can play on other heroes to put them asleep for 1 turn. The mage, seeing that the mage's attack is a little bit lower, but he does have an artifact and you don't know if it's going to trigger, the mage will decide to buy a Glosnark Bark for the extra couple of health defense. So spend 4 Eris, which is 2 silvers, to get a Glosnark Bark. Place that next to the hero board, and you can use that whenever you want. It has to be used before battle, which we'll see here in a second. So then each hero has a set number of actions. The mage has 6, the rogue has 8, the warrior has 6, and the hunter has 6 as well. So right now, there are 2 different types of actions in the game that the mage can perform. Exploring and moving. Exploring can only be done on a tile where there's an adjacent slot for a tile to be laid, and since the mage doesn't have that right now, the mage is forced to move on to a level 1 monster. That triggers the mage's special ability, in which the mage can decide to bypass monsters, which means that whenever the mage is on a tile, he can simply say, I don't want to engage that monster. That's what he's going to do. I don't want to engage that monster. I would rather explore. So that was 1 action to move. This is another action to explore. It's a level 2 monster. Each one of these map tiles has a north point, which needs to be oriented in the same way as all the other north points in the game. The mage decides to put it down right here. Take another tile, so this would be the 3rd action, flip it over, and it's a Hydra tile. There are 3 Hydra tiles in the game. When the 3rd Hydra tile is found, the Hydra model spawns on the map and moves 1 place closer to the city every player turn. If the Hydra reaches the city, all hope is lost, the city is vanquished, and all players lose. The mage will put it right here and decide to explore 1 more time. Oh, nice, it's a key, which would appear like it's pretty exciting. But if you look at where the north point is, there's only 1 way to put this right now, only 1 slot to put it in, and unfortunately the mage cannot go through brush, so the mage would not be able to get to that. So knowing that, there's only 2 choices for the mage at this point, realistically, with only 2 actions left. The mage can either decide to move on to the level 2 monster and decide to attack the level 2 monster, which the mage is not geared for that, although it would be a huge reward. Each monster in the game, a level 1 monster will give you 1 piece of loot, a level 2 monster will give you 2 pieces of loot, and a level 3 monster will actually give you 3 pieces of loot. So although that would be a huge, huge, huge reward for the mage, the chances of the mage beating a level 2 monster right now is relatively low. So as the mage, I'll decide to play a little bit conservatively and decide to go into battle and say, I'm going to go into battle, so I get to pull a level 1 monster card. And there it is. It is the Skeleton Deer. It has 8 health. It has 3 different dice on it. actions that you need to perform. And I know it's really hard to see in the video, but you need to get a slide, an attack, and a defend. Now, each one of these has a number associated with that, and you will take the displayed amount of damage if you don't get that particular action. For this particular monster, the mage gets 3 battle dice. So he can take 3 battle dice, assess his odds, roll the innkeeper die, which this determines betting in the game, 3. So all the other players can bet 3 on the outcome of this battle, whether or not the mage will be defeated or whether he will be victorious. The mage assessing his own odds says, you know what, I think I should probably use a Glosnark Bark to get +2 defense. That needs to be declared before other players bet, so that their bets are sound and calculated based on risk, not based on when this is played during battle. So it needs to be played before the battle starts. So based on that, now all the other players can make a calculated decision and bet their Eris. If they're successful in their bet, then the bank over here would pay that hero the full amount. If they're unsuccessful, then they pay the bank the full amount. So players can start to build up Eris in the game and use it to buy consumables from the marketplace, as well as other gear that will come up later in other player turns. So now, assuming that all bets are in by other players, the mage can pick up the 3 dice, decide to roll, needing to get a slide. No slide. So the mage has 5 defense, 3 on each one of these pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the Glosnark Bark. So now the mage would be down to 4 health. Roll again, and there's a wild. That is good to use against the slide. There is also an attack die here, which we would farm as well. And because it's an attack die, the mage gets to do damage. The mage has 2 attack, and the mage has an artifact right here as well. The spellbook. When you attack, match an attack with a battle die and double your damage. So now the mage is going to do 2 damage times, a wild. So now he's going to do 4 damage times whatever the multiplier die comes up as, 4. So 4 damage times 4, 16 damage. The monster is dead. That gets put out of the game. A piece of loot goes to the mage, which we'll display here in a second. And all bets would go to the heroes that were correct in that bet. The loot is flipped over. It is a lightweight breastplate, which is an upgrade for the mage, 3 defense. So this breastplate is removed. It only had 1 defense on it. It's removed out of the game. And then the mage can simply equip that breastplate. Now that the mage's turn is over, it would go on to the rogue, and so on and so forth. Each player, or I should say each hero, has their own special abilities. We already covered the mage being able to bypass monsters. The rogue's ability is to lockpick chests that are found in the game. The rogue would roll 3 dice, and if the rogue gets a wild, then the rogue would be successful in picking that lock, but the rogue can only pick each chest in the game 1 time. So if the rogue is unsuccessful, then the rogue needs to get a key like everybody else. The warrior special ability is the ability to actually fight multiple monsters in the same turn. So he can decide to go against a level 1 monster. If his health pool is still high enough, he would still get his 1 piece of loot from battling the first one, but that needs to remain face down, and then he can go against the second one. If he's unsuccessful against the second one, he will lose that loot as well. So it's a huge risk for him, but it's a huge payoff if he's right. The hunter can pass freely through all brush in the map, which is very advantageous if the hunter knows how to use it correctly. That covers the hero abilities. Once all heroes, I'm going to remove this off the board, once heroes feel like they are ready to battle the Hydra, because that's what this game is all about, is who can defeat the Hydra the fastest. That's where the sense of urgency is in the game. Once players are ready, they can either wait for the Hydra awakening to happen by 3 Hydra tiles being placed on the map, or they can move on the map onto a Hydra tile and immediately challenge the Hydra. At that point, the challenging hero would get 3 battle dice, and the Hydra cards are shuffled, and random patterns are brought up for them to succeed against. Same type of battle system as the rest of the game, but different battles, different patterns come up every time you complete them. So it's completely random, kind of what you're gonna get, and you really hope that you don't get like a wild, because that is just gonna be hilarious for your friends. I think that covers most of the core aspects of the game. If there's any more questions that anybody has, please leave it in the comments on the Kickstarter campaign and let us know your feedback. We want this to be an awesome game for everybody involved. Thank you.